Okay. I think we're ready to begin the board meeting of Fort Schuyler. I'd like to welcome all of our board members and start by thanking you for your service to our board. So we're glad you're here. I'd also like to welcome Kevin Eunice, who's representing EST in the table here, and also Emily Kuchala, who is representing the Research Foundation. As we normally do, I'd like to just start and remind anybody if they have any potential conflicts of interest with respect to the items on today's agenda, that you please declare that now, and let the record show that you do have a conflict of interest, and let us know as we proceed through reviewing those resolutions and discussing them and approving them. Okay, to start, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve our minutes. We've actually had 3 meetings prior to this one on May 10th, June 12th, and June 28th. Those minutes are in front of you, and I think we can approve all those meetings with one motion. So, Ken, motion to approve those minutes. Second. Any discussion or comments with regard or changes to those minutes? Okay, great, thank you. What I'd like to do now is turn it over to our president to introduce a number of topics: Resolution 161, 162, 163, a discussion of a lease with regard to Onondaga County, and then several updates similar to the FRMC board meeting, financial advisor, RFP, and legal services. So I'll turn it over to Bob for him to review the resolutions, and we'll introduce those and then vote on.
Thanks, Bob. Resolution 161 is the NORSC project scope change. And again, I don't want to read a lot. I think we've talked about this NORSC, but I'll give a quick summary and then get to the heart of the matter. For most of you, you know NORSC is a U.S. subsidiary of a Norwegian company that has developed proprietary technology that enables it to manufacture aircraft components out of titanium. In July 2015, pursuant to a resolution adopted by the board, they authorized and approved the corporation undertaking the development, design, and construction and fit-up of approximately 170,000 square feet facility to house NORSC's USA-based manufacturing and business operations, also the acquisition of real property for the new facility, and the acquisition of manufacturing equipment to be housed in the new facility for use by NORSC. NORSC now, as happens in many of these projects, has, as they get into the project, realized that that's not really what they needed was the original. So I think what they need now is a little bit less of space, kind of organized in a different way, and the machinery kind of organized for them. So I'll get to that. And so after much discussion and analysis of the situation, the parties have agreed that the best and most economical course of action is to continue to use the existing facility for manufacturing, the existing facility that they're in, and to construct a new 100,000 square foot facility rather than a 170,000 square foot facility with approximately 20,000 square feet of office space for NORSC's U.S. headquarters, of research and development space, and 60,000 square feet of manufacturing space. The Board of Directors of the Empire State Development Corporation approved this 2-building plan. So the first plan was for a single building of 170,000 square feet. The next is to kind of have the existing building that they're in, which is, again, significantly smaller than that, of 67,500 square feet, and then this new building of 100,000 square feet.
So cumulatively around the same?
Around the same, yes, absolutely.
Bob, what wasn't clear to me, that may well be in the materials, is are these buildings actually physically co-located, or are they separate pieces of property?
No, they're going to be separate pieces of property. So, and again, I think the idea was the best idea for them was to be in the same locality in the same region, but to kind of have these two pieces separately seemed to make the most economic sense. And not only that, it allowed them to maximize their purchase of tools, which was to them the most important piece of this project.
And
So-
Bob, I'm sorry, the original building that was envisioned was going to be for manufacturing and office space, and now they're adding an R&D component to their work in New York as well?
That's true. So again, the most important piece, again, so the design has changed a little bit, but no additional project funding is needed as a result of the change in scope. The corporation expects to seek authorization from the board to purchase the existing facility they're in, as well as the land on which the 100,000 square foot office manufacturing complex will be built. So again, no change in the money, just a kind of change in how they felt was the best way to do the buildings.
Does it change their timeline? Does it accelerate
No,
that?
it does not change the timeline as far as I know.
It doesn't, it does allow for, you know, if they had to start all over, there would be some
Put 'em
delays.
back.
So this allows them to continue to get to, you know, to the market in a much more timely manner than if they were doing the whole building
That's
from
good.
scratch. Absolutely, yeah.
No, I think, again, I defer to Kevin, but I think everyone thinks that this was an improvement in the project scope.
Yeah, yeah, bigger, you know, with more jobs because there's more machines. And I don't offhand remember the numbers, but there's substantially more jobs associated with the project than originally.
Maybe I should go through all of them before, do you
Well, we
want
can take this one, why don't we take this one and have a motion to approve Resolution 161?
Make the motion.
Any more discussion or comments? So moved by Megan,
I'll second.
second by Ken. Any other discussion or questions with regard to Resolution 161 and Norse? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any nays or abstentions? Okay, motion 161 is approved. Let's move on to Resolution number 162.
Equipment purchase for Quad C, which is a companion kind of resolution to what we asked the board to consider, I think, the last time you were here. Resolution 162 would provide authorization for Fort Schuyler to enter into contracts for the procurement of tools for use by Danfoss in this power electronic packaging manufacturing center. There will be approximately 120 tools ordered from 30 tool suppliers for initial manufacturing lines. Tools for the transportation line will be ordered at a later date. The procurement process for all tool purchases will be conducted in compliance with Fort Schuyler's procurement guidelines, policy, and protocols. The Fort Schuyler Finance Committee voted at its meeting on July 17, 2017, to recommend that the board approve a resolution authorizing the purchase of tools for power electronics packaging manufacturing at Quad C. And again, I believe, so again, I think I was just looking for what I thought was the cap, but I'll ask.
Is it 27?
Yeah, 27.
It is 27 million?
For the construction portion, the last one was 27. This one for tools is 59 million.
So Tom, by the way, is the construction manager who's working on the Danfoss project, who has all of the details.
And the transportation component, will be asked to act on that separately in the future, or is that part of this?
I don't think it's part of this.
It's included, the tools are, yes, it is included.
Oh, it is?
In the 27 and the 59.
Okay, any further discussion on Resolution 162? Like-
Just to be clear, that's not a change, that amount, that's not a change, right?
What is not a change,
The
Megan?
cap that we just talked about.
No, again, there's 100 million, I believe, allocated overall for this project. Again, I would defer to the ESD folks, and this is the tool purchase associated with the building design that we gave you last time.
Okay.
It's against that allocation. it's a.
Yeah, it was
Yes,
$100
it's
Yeah.
against that
for the
allocation.
project.
There has been no change.
So I'd like to ask for a motion to approve Resolution 162.
Moved. Oh, sorry.
Okay, thank you. Kristen?
Second.
Ken, thank you.
Mhm.
Any further comments or discussion?
It's
All the-
exciting to see the manufacturing.
What's that?
It's exciting to see the manufacturing.
Yes,
Building
yes.
in here.
Tom, is there any update you want to give, maybe, that folks on the board would be interested in?
Sure, we're in negotiations with M&W for the construction contract right now, but they've already started moving forward with design. So they have their team has been assembled and they're designing, they're working on construction estimates. They have some of their people already in Utica. Dan Plus has people in Utica. Dan Plus has consultants that have been working with him on their test projects and on this one that have located here on this campus to assist in the design. So projects, it's moving forward. We've identified the tools that are required. Some of the negotiations have begun for those tools. We haven't placed any POs pending this approval. And now we're on schedule. Things are moving forward.
Good.
All right. I see from the materials too that to the greatest extent possible, they're gonna try to hire in the local marketplace.
Yes,
which is
absolutely.
really great.
That's terrific.
And another thing I'd add, I think it's great for this area, especially in Utica. They're essentially recreating a factory that they've done in Germany. So this is a real positive for, I think, manufacturing in New York. Tom, is that accurate?
Yes, it is. Yeah, and it's actually going to position them for, to enter more into the U.S. automobile industry, which has been on their target.
Nice.
Okay, the motion has been introduced by Kristen, second by Ken. All those in favor of Resolution 162, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Okay, thank you. Resolution 162 has been approved. Next is an amendment to an existing lease with Onondaga County. Is it?
Well, we want to go to.
Oh, the procurement
63.
policy, excuse me, I
Sorry.
apologize.
Again, you're going to
Uh,
be shocked by this new amendment to our procurement
Yeah, this is
policy.
number 163, very similar to Amendment 153, which I don't happen to have in front of me. Anyway,
It's very similar to what we've asked the board for Fuller Road. This is Fort Schuyler approved, Resolution 147, adopting a procurement guidelines policy. Again, this has two amendments to that policy. Amend Section 3J, which lists the circumstances where a contract may be awarded on a sole source basis, single source, or other non-competitive basis, to add a new subsection 7, allowing the purchase of goods and services through the use of centralized contracts held by the New York State Office of General Services. So this is the companion piece to the Fuller Road piece. The second part of the amendment, again, does the same thing. Section 7B is amended to delete item 17, which refers to testimony, because it's unnecessary and not relevant to the operation of Fort Schuyler and its procurement policies.
okay. Any comments or questions with regard to Resolution 163 for the procurement policy amendment? Okay, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve.
Motion?
Okay, thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Please say aye. Any nays, abstentions? Thank you. Resolution 163 is approved. Next is what I had mentioned earlier, is a amendment to an existing lease in
Thank you.
Onondaga County Office of Economic Development. Would you like, Mr. President, to make a few comments on that?
Again, I think this one is pretty straightforward. We have an existing, Fort Schuyler has an existing lease with the Onondaga County Office of Economic Development. Again, this is for the Film Hub in DeWitt and Onondaga currently pays rent to Fort Schuyler in the amount of $1,000 a month for the space. We are basically allowing them to have a very small additional amount of space, 115 square feet of space under the existing rental agreement, so there would be no increase in the rent. We feel that it's worth doing that because the Onondaga County folks have been basically the spur to get new film projects at the location. So we think since they're the ones incentivizing folks to locate and to do film productions at the Film Hub, that it makes sense to give them this small amount of space under the existing lease arrangement.
Okay, any questions or comments with regard to that?
The additional space is only 115 square feet.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
tiny.
Tiny.
Yes.
It's not for a person to stand up and get around.
Any other questions or comments with regard to the amendment to the Onondaga lease? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Kristen. Thank you. Any other seconds?
Second.
Okay. Thank you, Franklin. Any other comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Nay? Abstentions? Thank you. Okay, let's move on to an update, which we had discussed in our prior board meeting with Fuller Road, a financial advisor RFP and legal services RFP.
Again, I'll try not to bore people too much by regurgitating what I've said before, but I think it's important for the board to know that we need to go out and secure the services of a financial advisor, and we already have issued an RFP for that purpose. We also intend to go forward with an RFP for outside legal services because our existing contract has run its course, and we need to secure those legal service, or the potential to utilize those outside legal services in the future. And we'll be looking at other outside contracts in the future to bring back to the board with respect to accounting services and potentially other services, including bond counsel, which we'll get out in association with the financial services RFP.
Any questions or comments? Okay, let's move on to new business. Any new business? Okay. I'd like to open up for public comment. Please limit your comments to 2 minutes or less. Anyone from the public would like to comment? By the way, I forgot at the beginning of this meeting to welcome the public that's here. We appreciate you coming. Okay, our next quarterly board meeting is August 10th, which will be here at what time?
3:30.
3:30 and 4:30.
3:30.
3:30 for, okay. All right, as I started this meeting, I'd like to thank all of our board members for your service, your volunteers, and we appreciate your time. We know it's a busy time of year here in the summer, and we appreciate your service to our state and to improving our economy. So thank you for your service. I'd like to have a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Thank you. Second? So moved. This meeting of Fort Schuyler is officially adjourned. Thank you.